Hong Kong police say over 150 people have been arrested after the latest weekend of protests in the city. Addressing the media today, they again said protests are getting more radical and violent.
And that frontline police work is getting more risky. Chief Executive Carrie Lam made a rare public appearance today. Mrs. Lam walking around Central MTR Station to inspect damage after protesters vandalized the station yesterday.
Meanwhile, students have continued a boycott of school for a second week. This morning, many formed human chains in districts across the city to express their support for the protest movement. They've rejected an olive branch offered by Chief Executive Carrie Lam, saying more concessions have to be made. Afifa Arifin tells us more.
It's been described as a summer of discontent. Summer has now ended in Hong Kong, but the protests show no signs of slowing down. The first week of school term saw thousands of students from high schools to universities boycott classes. A recent survey done by 4 universities in Hong Kong showed that students form more than half of the protesters on the streets. Students are adamant that the demonstrations will continue. This even after Chief Executive Carrie Lam offered an olive branch, a 4-point action plan including the full withdrawal of the controversial extradition bill. The first of 5 key demands protesters have been calling for.
The other 4 demands have not yet been met, so we are still fighting for those other demands. We hope that students can spare their time to devote their time into this movement. We have to think different ways and different tactics to let this momentum go on. Maybe not just about class strike or class boycott, maybe other civil or uncivil disobedience acts that we can consider.
Young people have become the face of the city's political crisis. Some as young as just 12 years old have been caught at the most violent extreme end of the clashes that the city has now become so familiar with. More than 1,000 people have been arrested, and student unions have provided their peers with legal support and medical resources to protect their rights and safety. Because for so many of the young, joining in the supposed fight for freedom has become a badge of honor.
A lot of people praise the young protesters for leading to the shelving of the controversial bill. And the young people, the students, became proud and they enjoyed a sense of empowerment, and they also believe that this whole campaign was led or has been led and organized by students. So they have a very substantial sense of pride, and therefore they are eager to participate.
But another issue that binds these young protesters, say analysts, is a shared sense that there is no future for them in Hong Kong. Many are dissatisfied with the government's inability to address social issues. Home ownership, for example, remains an unattainable goal.
With protests in Hong Kong entering the 15th straight week now, it's clear that protesters have rejected Carrie Lam's latest peace offering. For Hong Kong's youth in particular, trust of the government seems more distant than ever before, and it remains to be seen whether the two sides can reach a compromise even as they seek to reduce tensions. Afifa Arifin, CNA, Hong Kong.